Molt bé, doncs bon dia i benvinguts a tots i a totes, els que esteu aquí presencials i els que estan online. Estem avui a la jornada final d'aquest projecte europeu EnTrack, un projecte finançat per la Unió Europea amb els fons Horizon 2020, amb un pressupost total de gairebé 1.400.000 euros i uns quants partners, el CIMNE a Catalunya, que és el líder i coordinador del projecte, Departament de Territori i Sostenibilitat de la Generalitat, per part de Bulgària, EnEffect Consult Ltd, Energy Pro al Regne Unit, Joule d'Itàlia, Geco Global APS Dinamarca i per part de Catalunya també l'Institut Català d'Energia, qui avui represento en aquesta benvinguda. L'objectiu del projecte és, en l'àmbit de la transició energètica, un pilar fonamental que és el control, no, dels edificis, de l'estalvi de l'eficiència energètica. I això ha ajudat aquest projecte, a Catalunya en concret, a disposar del CIME, aquest sistema de monitoratge d'edificis, per tenir tot el conjunt dels edificis de Catalunya en una plataforma única que ens permeti disposar d'aquelles dades, d'aquelles mesures a implementar, implementades i poder calcular d'aquesta manera l'estalvi vinculat en cada una de les inversions en eficiència energètica i veure l'impacte i poder prioritzar sobretot les inversions en aquells edificis amb més necessitat, no? Que és clau en qualsevol procés de transició més enllà de generar l'energia amb renovables i d'electrificar la demanda, és clau no oblidar, i en això Catalunya fa molts anys que hi estem obstinats, no? L'estalvi i l'eficiència energètica. Per tant, un dels beneficis d'aquest projecte per part de Catalunya és disposar d'aquesta plataforma que en traurem molt de suc, no? Perquè ens permetrà tenir aquest control de tots els edificis de la Generalitat, primer consumidor energètic elèctric del país, no? Per tant, tenim aquesta base de dades. En aquests moments hi ha 9.445 edificis, uns 5.000 són de Catalunya i unes 20.000 mesures recollides, unes 2.000 aplicades ja a Catalunya també. S'ha realitzat també una guia de protocols i procediments per als propietaris dels edificis, també clau, no? Perquè els edificis poden estar molt ben construïts, podem aplicar-hi moltes mesures d'estalvi i d'eficiència, però si l'usuari final, si l'operador, el mantenidor de l'edifici no controla bé tots aquests sistemes, moltes vegades no acaben donant el rendiment i el fruit, no? que aquestes inversions requereixen. I alhora també s'han realitzat uns acords per donar continuïtat no només a la plataforma de dades, sinó a la metodologia, que és clau, no? També el traspàs d'unes persones a altres, d'uns usuaris als altres, de la metodologia que s'estableixi pel funcionament d'aquests sistemes, d'aquestes plataformes digitals, i l'estratègia vinculada a aquests sistemes. Tant a Catalunya, on el treball tindrà continuïtat amb el CIME dins del Pla d'Estalvi i Eficiència Energètica de la Generalitat, que tenim objectius ja molt ambiciosos en aquest últim pla 23-27, en el que hem d'assolir, igual que tot Catalunya, nivells d'eficiència i d'implantació de renovables mai vistos. També a Bulgària i també a la regió d'Eslina, República Txeca. En aquests dos casos s'han transferit les dades dels edificis municipals i s'han signat acords amb xarxes de municipis, un total de 11 acords. Per tant, res, agrair també a l'ICAEN, al grup de projectes internacionals, a Josep Maria, la Marta, l'Oriol, crec que també en el seu moment, a l'Òscar i a CIMNE també pel seu treball i implicació, i espero que la jornada d'avui la gaudiu tots, i jo em sap greu, tinc altres compromisos avui, però ja em faran el traspàs quan finalitzi, i moltes gràcies a tots.
Moltes gràcies, Marta, para esta introdução e muitas graças a ICAEN para a organização desta jornada e aos autores que estão. Eu sou o coordenador do projeto EnEffect e agora continuaremos a sessão online, continuaremos em inglês, desta parte. Well, thank you very much for being here. Now we're going to continue our session with our online panel of European experts who work mainly in the financing of the energy transition. So we will have 4 speakers session. Mr. Carsten Glenting, who is the coordinator of a DEEP project. The DEEP is the de-risking energy efficiency project of the European Union, which is a platform now staying for several years. Then, as a second speaker, we have Mr. Davide Strangis, who is Deputy Director of the Confederation of Peripheral Maritime Regions, regional organization. And then we have Stefano Capuzzi from the European Investment Bank, the expert, energy expert there. And then we will have the presentation of Michael Pachlatko, who is a European Director of Joule Assets Europe, who is also partner of Ventrack. So, welcome, experts. I thank you very much for joining. Now I will give the word to Carsten. We have for this session, we have 1 hour or less. So please, Carsten, Director of the DEEP project.
Put it into. Do you see my screen?
I
think I have a problem with the sound.
We have a sound problem just a moment.
Can you hear me now? Do you see my screen? Okay. And you hear me? Hello? Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. I will then continue. Many thanks for the invitation. I'm really pleased to be able to share some of the experience of the DEEP platform, and in particular the experience of working together with the EnEffect project, which has been a very successful cooperation. The DEEP platform has been developed in the context of the EnEffect, Energy Efficiency Financial Institutions Group, which is a cooperation between the European Commission, DG Energy, and the UNEP Finance Initiative. This is an ongoing cooperation for 10 years, starting in 2013, first resulting in the landmark report Energy Efficiency, the First Fuel for the EU Economy in 2015, which identified as one of the key barriers to scaling up energy efficiency financing, the lack of adequate data. On that basis, it was decided to develop a European database of realized energy efficiency projects, which is called now the De-risking Energy Efficiency Now, after that, a number of research projects has also been developed, but I will focus today on the DEEP platform. The EnEffect ended its current version in June last year with a conference in Brussels, but I'm pleased to tell you that right now, in parallel to the current meeting, there is a launch event in the EU Commission for the new European Energy Efficiency Financing Coalition, which will continue the work of EFIC in bringing together financial institutions and sector experts in a cooperation on mobilizing additional financing from public and private sources for energy efficiency projects. Just briefly to say that there is a lot of research available from EFIC that I can recommend referring to on financing practices, on the financial performance of energy efficiency financing, on the multiple benefits of energy efficiency, and also on data and monitoring energy efficiency investments. Those are all available through the European Commission's publication office online for free. But today, I will focus on the DEEP platform. DEEP is an open source database for energy efficiency investment performance monitoring and benchmarking. The idea is to provide a better understanding of the real risk and benefits of energy efficiency investments based on actual realized projects that have been implemented across the EU and their results. It has been a long process of establishing this, but today there are more than 38,000 energy efficiency projects across buildings and industry that are included in this database from 30 different data providers. This includes national support schemes, it includes the European Investment Bank, and very importantly, it includes projects focused on data collection and establishing data platforms, such as the EnEffect project. And I'll come back to that. The data is regularly updated with new data, and regularly there's also improvements in the functionality. And the work on the DEEP will be continued now under the new European Energy Efficiency Financing Coalition being launched today. The DEEP is publicly available. It can be accessed through the European Commission server if you have a EU login, which can also easily be established if you don't have it. The deep data structure initially was very ambitious with 200 fields, but we also recognized during the data collection that there are basically around 20 fields that can be guaranteed for most projects. It's about the project, the sector, the energy efficiency investment performed, the consumption data and financial indicators, and sometimes we can get things of a more qualitative nature of why is the investment implemented and what are the benefits realized apart from the energy saving. We've also over the years found that to provide a minimum relevant project for informing investment decisions going forward, we need to know not only the country and that it's a building, but we also need to have some kind of idea of what is the actual investment measure implemented. And importantly, we need to know what is the cost of the investment and what is the energy saving in either euros or kilowatt hours, or ideally in both euros and kilowatt hours. What has become very evident is that data on the investment size and data on the energy savings are rarely actually collected by the same institutions in the same platforms, and it's really difficult to get them matched for many projects. Another issue that we had to work with was the data privacy issue, because many project developers, in particular on a more commercial scale, and financial institutions such as the European Investment Bank, underlying have loan agreements and contracts that requires confidentiality. The way this was solved was to ensure that all data providers are guaranteed anonymity and that the data that users can access is aggregated. So you cannot, as a user, get specific data on a single project. You can only get aggregated data on groups of projects, which also is extremely useful for benchmarking purposes while respecting the anonymity of the underlying projects. We've also had to develop a clear value proposition, both for the users. Why does this make sense? Why is it really important to have data? But also for the data providers. Why should I care? Why should I spend the time on providing data for my project to this? And it's about contributing to de-risking energy efficiency financing. It's about the many non-energy benefits that are in particular in buildings. And it's also about this being a valid EU-hosted and owned database with a guarantee that we will not share your data. We have had many requests for sharing the underlying data because many people want to monetize this. But if that had been a part of the package, we would never have been able to get data for 38,000 projects. So this is a necessary trade-off, that some degree of anonymization is necessary if you really want a large number of projects. The deep has been gradually increased, and a very important milestone was reached in June 2023, when the deep was fully integrated into the EC IT infrastructure and enlarged with 50% additional projects. So new projects were added from Bulgaria, Spain, Greece, France, Germany, and in this context, the data provided by the EnEffect Corporation was extremely important. Important additional projects were provided for Bulgaria and Spain, and I'll just reflect briefly on that and what that has meant for the database. From Bulgaria, the EnEffect project contributed an additional 6,800 projects with various buildings-related metrics, actually data of a very high quality. This data has meant that there is now a very valid description of possibilities for doing energy efficiency in building in Bulgaria, with a high degree of differentiation between different types of measures. It's clear also from this that these are relatively deep investments. These are investments that typically move the energy performance certificate of the project around 3 steps, on average 2.8. And the payback time for the building projects in this new data is below 8 years. This, of course, also is quite attractive because these are projects that have a lifetime of 20 to 30 years. We do, in parallel to the payback time, calculate the avoidance cost. The avoidance cost you can compare with the levelized cost of energy that you get from renewable energy. So the avoidance cost is really the levelized cost of an energy saving of 1 kilowatt hour coming from a energy efficiency project over the lifetime of the project. And these 6,800 buildings projects in Bulgaria, they have a median avoidance cost of 2 € per kilowatt hour saved over the lifetime of the measure. That actually means that it's very competitive, also with the cheapest forms of renewable energy. So energy efficiency is the first clean fuel for the EU economy. The EnEffect data has meant that Bulgaria now has the best coverage of any EU country in terms of building projects in the deep database. In parallel, projects were provided for Spain. Around 200 projects were provided with complete data, so data on the same level as Bulgaria, but an additional 1,800 projects were actually available with a lot of useful data, but without the energy consumption data. And this is an example that often these data are actually available from different data sources that are difficult to match. The EnEffect project was at that time working with the Catalan government on linking the energy data for the remaining projects. And we hope that in the future, we will be able to upload updated data for Spain in the continued work with the deep database. Again, in Spain, the payback time for the buildings is below 8 years, and the median avoidance cost was slightly higher, 3 € per kilowatt hour, but still very competitive. We do think that if it's possible to match the energy data in Spain in the future under the project, it will also be possible for Spain to be one of the best covered projects in the database. Finally, the experience from cooperating between the DEEP project and the EnEffect project. First of all, I must say that the EnEffect data is very high quality, and it's more complete than data from most other sources. This talks to the quality of the intact fabric, but it also shows the value of having a very close relation, liaison between the deep database administration and EU-funded projects such as EnEffect. Some of the other supported projects, also supported by Horizon 2020 of Life, that had intention of providing energy data to deep, have not been able to do so within the time available under the project. So it's very important to align data structures. This is one of the things we've learned from the cooperation with EnEffect, and many thanks to the EnEffect team for the good close cooperation. It's important to align data structures across different EU-funded initiatives. It's important to link investment data with energy consumption data. And then on a more general level, it's important to ensure that project-level data is available. So many thanks to the EnEffect team for the good cooperation, and we look forward to hopefully continuing cooperation in the future. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, but the audio of the conference is not working properly, but I guess that our dear friend Stoyan just introduced me. So, right? Can someone confirm me if the audio works, please?
Yeah, the
Yes?
audio works. Yeah,
Very well.
the floor is
So,
yours.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to ICAEN, Simne, and all EnEffect partners in general, and Stoyan in particular, of course, for the opportunity to address this event on behalf of my organization, the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions, the CPMR, and its Inter-Mediterranean Commission. I'm Davide Strangis. I work as Deputy Secretary General of this association, the CPMR, which is an organization that gathers around 150 regions from 24 member states, representing more than 200 million people today. And in my intervention today, I'll basically explain you who we are a bit and our works related to energy efficiency. But most important, I'll give you a few ideas on how we could develop synergies with EnEffect in the field of energy renovation in buildings, of course. So back a moment to who we are. For the ones that do not know us well, our first objective is, of course, as organization, is to campaign in favor of a more balanced development of the European territory. We are active from the 70s. We have contributed to create the Committee of the Regions, but also some very relevant policies for the regions like cohesion, territorial cooperation policies, integrating maritime policy, among other important things. And we are quite peculiar organization, I would say, as we are the only ones to be structured in 6 geographical commissions, one for each sea basin of the European Union, the Atlantic, the Baltic, the Mediterranean, the North Sea, the Balkan and Black Sea, plus we have one commission that is transversal for the islands. And for you to have an idea, the CPMR has its General Assembly, where all members sit, General Secretariat, and the Political Bureau, which is the most executive body of our association. Plus, we have also, of course, thematic working groups. And this structure is kind of replicated also at the level of our 6 geographical commissions. So it's basically 7 organizations in one. And the Inter-Mediterranean Commission, only just to give you an idea, includes almost 40 regions belonging to all coastal and insular European countries, plus some pre-accession countries like Albania and non-EU South Mediterranean countries like Morocco. You could wonder why we have this articulated structure. Well, that's because it's a very pragmatic way of addressing both the policy issues at global level, but also working on specificities linked to each geographical area. But what we do exactly at CPMR level, well, we are mainly doing 3 things. We act as a group of interest for our member regions before the European institutions. As I was saying, we are mainly maritime, coastal, insular regions. So we represent their voices in front of the Council, the European Commission, and the European Parliament, with whom we have direct and privileged, let's say, relations, and to whom we periodically send policy positions, studies, and technical documents. And we do all that on a set of key policy areas, in particular, that are in the field of competence of our regions. So first of all, cohesion policy and the European budget. As you know, most of our regions have shared management of ESI funds, so it's indeed their core interest. And then also maritime policies, accessibility, migration, gender, but also climate and energy. And then as a second activity, we gather thousands of contacts and we catalyze many of the needs and the good innovative ideas that our region have. So we all act as a think tank. So we kind of influence the influencers and come up with proposals for new legislation or adaptation of current legislative or policy files in different domains that I was mentioning. And a third activity that we do is exchange of best practices, concrete cooperation also via specific initiatives and European projects that can retrofeed our lobbying and advocacy efforts. To get an idea, we have almost 20 projects per year that we lead or where we are partners, and many others where we join as associate or supporting entity, like it's the case of EnEffect. Now, as I was saying, we work also on climate and energy at CPMR level. We do have an energy working group, and then that is coordinated by, you know, 3 of regions, the Basque Country, a Swedish region, and a Finnish region. And when it comes to energy, of course, at global level, we started to work on Fit for 55 package, Repower EU, the national energy climate plans. And more recently, we are addressing the Net Zero Industry Act, renewable ocean energies, and green hydrogen, among other topics. But as I was saying, then each geographical commission can work a bit more on specific files. And for instance, at Mediterranean level, we have set back in 2014 a water and energy working group that was, let's say, aimed at supporting Euro-Mediterranean regional authorities for a better application of European directives and agreements on water and energy. And within this group, we created a task force on energy renovation in Mediterranean buildings. That was and is still coordinated by the Generalitat of Catalonia. Now, this was done on the wave of results coming from different European projects developed with our regions and other key technical partners, thanks mainly to Interreg. It was already mentioned in the intervention before mine. And speaking about projects like Elimed, Marie, Sherpa, among others, and all projects where Catalonia, by the way, had a very important driving role, I must say. And when it comes to relevant outcomes from these projects, I remember in particular a couple of declarations like the Declaration of Ljubljana and the Joint Policy Paper that were addressing in particular how to improve MED transnational cooperation answer to energy efficiency challenges in buildings. And these documents highlighted the specific conditions of and the difficulties related to projects in energy efficiency in buildings in the MED area, and in particular because of geographical, climatic, social, and economic specificities, but also they showed the huge potential in terms of energy savings in the area. Then CARPA, funded by Interreg MED program, was a key project in particular for us that supported between 2016 and 2019 a great number of our Mediterranean regions in the development of projects of energy renovation in their public building stock. And this indeed contributed to the implementation of the European directives on energy performance in building, energy efficiency, and aimed, of course, at reaching the targets of the European Union for energy efficiency. The main problems identified in the Mediterranean area with regards to the implementation of these kind of projects were indeed financing, the internal structure of the public administration themselves, the need in terms of training of the public workers, and indeed the necessity to improve data collection systems. So to give response to these issues under Sherpa, we worked on several axes via working groups, and we produced some concrete results in particular 100 regional and 65 local energy renovation projects in Mediterranean buildings. And we had 50 regional and local administrations directly involved from different regions: Abruzzo, Lazio, Catalunya, Gozo, Dubrovnik, Region Sud, Emilia-Romagna, Valencia, Crete. And we also created some tools, capitalization workshop, and last but not least, a joint action plan for the renovation of buildings in the Mediterranean. And this action plan was elaborated based, of course, on the results of Sherpa. It aims at getting and setting up a common framework for integrating the strategies for the energy renovation of public buildings in the area of the Mediterranean. And one of the main goals was, and is still, promoting an investment plan for this kind of renovation project across the Mediterranean. And we presented, by the way, this plan in Brussels at the end of the project, just before the pandemic. And between the technical, let's say, proposals, the strategic axis of the plan, there was, of course, one that was addressing technical assistance and information systems. And one of the operative transnational actions that we identified many for each action of the plan. One was on building data aggregation and harmonization platforms. And this was indeed responding to the challenges that we identified and oriented to promote actions that would ensure the continuity of projects, filling the technological and knowledge gap. And the solution that was identified was precisely setting up an ecosystem of interoperable and complementary tools through standardized definitions, data description, and common knowledge sharing space. So when the project was proposed and approved, our organization became, of course, member of the TRAC and TRAC advisory board, because this was precisely the project implementing that action. And we joined the meetings of this project advisory board. We also invited CIMNE to present the project's progress at our IMC task force meeting back in October 2022. And now we will be signing a memorandum of understanding with the project, basically to explore, let's say, and strengthen the synergies between the project and the work of our working groups at the CPMR. Then we will promote the use of EnTrack platform among our members, providing, we hope, the necessary building data, and thus facilitating the access to contacts with our member regions that are interested in the platform. And on the practical side also, we will foresee at least one structured feedback session on the EnTrack platform, during which our members will give their opinion and feedback on the platform itself. So having said that, our commission has kept working on the subject of energy efficiency indeed in the latest months. We keep monitoring, let's say, the implementation of this joint action plan in our regions through the participation in concrete projects. And finally, of course, we are working in this task force that now is, by the decision, of course, of Catalonia, reoriented also a bit its works on decarbonizing housing as a priority, where we are including also the social aspects on top of the energy efficiency aspects. We will be building synergies with EnTrack, as I said. And last but not least, for your information, we are lobbying as an organization for a Mediterranean macro-regional strategy, where also Catalonia is having a key role in this lobbying effort, involving all Mediterranean stakeholders and basing, let's say, our proposal on a multi-level governance approach, where we hope indeed to put the issue of energy renovation in buildings at the core of key priorities, together with the one of data spaces and platforms to boost sustainable digital transformation at all levels. I think I should stop there, as I have spoken already a lot. I will have to leave for your information at the end of this session, but my colleague Flora Leroy, that is our senior European Union Program Officer, is on site with you and will be available for more information and interaction. So thanks very much, everyone, and I give back the floor to the main room.
Information system. And now we further developed this idea, promoted it through through the European Commission, and finally now NTRAC has become quite different and quite powerful, because the technological base has changed completely, and CPMR is also part of has been always part of our strategy, because we started this project with large pilots here in Spain with the whole public building stock. I will present this, but in Bulgaria in the municipal level. But our ambition is still stays to become a European platform, European reference for this, and so we're here also to promote this into the municipalities. Uh, Now I give the floor to our next speaker, Stefano Capuzzi from the European Investment Bank. Stefano.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I will share my screen, so let me know if it's okay. Good. And I am Stefano Capuzzi, an engineer from the Energy Efficiency Energy Advisory Division in the European Investment Bank, the IB, or BEI, Banco Europeo de Inversiones. And so today I will present what we do in the IB and what opportunity a financial tool can support the investment in energy efficiency. We are all aware of the challenges we are now facing, like climate change, increasing of energy prices, difficulty for some to eat or cool their homes, energy security issues. So it's agreed that it's important to decrease the energy consumption and the carbon emission, and to do so, an increase in energy efficiency investment is needed. So I will first present the IB group. Is mainly composed by the European Investment Bank, which is the lending arm of the European, founded in 1958, and the European Investment Fund, which provides risk finance to small and medium sized enterprises. The IB is one of the world's largest multilateral lenders and a leading provider of climate finance, of investment related to climate change mitigation and adaptation, and it's governed by the EU member states. Some data about the EIB. The funds of the EIB are raised on international capital markets and are passed, and the EIB passes on favorable borrowing condition to clients. Since 1958, over 1.5 trillion have been invested, more than 14,000 projects in 160 countries, so in EU, but also all around the world. We are headquartered in Luxembourg, which I'm connected in from Luxembourg today. We are around 4,200 people with 600 offices all around the world. We suggest to get in touch with our regional colleague if you want also to understand more what the AB does in your country, or if you have specific interest in some financing opportunities. The shareholders of the bank are the member states with different, let's say, shares. So actually, the EIB is an European body. The financing of last year, 2023, was 87 billions, mostly from the European Investment Bank and apart from the EIF. And the policy priority area are the one, the aim of the EIB is to support the Europe targets and goal and policy priority areas such as innovation, digital and human capital, sustainable energy and natural resources, so energy efficiency included, sustainable city and regions, SMEs and mid-caps. Among these 87 billions of 2023, 49 were related to green financing, and since 2021, more than around 350 billions have been invested in support green financing, as well also a part in cohesion. Let's have a focus on energy. In 2023, 84 billion have been invested in energy efficiency on the 21 related to energy projects with impacts on also with also an interesting investment data about renewables, electricity networks, providing electricity to 30 plus million households. The energy lending agency, that I anticipated before, it's something that is much needed now, and as we see that have been an increase in the recent years, an increasing trend. And the important data here is that on the energy efficiency share on the 21 billions on energy and the energy efficiency of building, you can see it's the vast majority, let's say, the majority of the energy efficiency lending volume. Let's speak about what are our eligibilities related to energy efficiency. Regarding the renovation of building, any renovation that complies with regulation, which is a major renovation according to the member states regulation which implement the energy performance building directive, or to achieve a minimum 30% energy saving, which is calculated with energy audit on APC, and does not take into account the renewable production. And also individual energy efficiency measure that complied with minimum standards like envelope insulation, windows replacement, HVAC renovation are eligible for energy efficiency. Also, the construction of new buildings is eligible if the buildings are taxonomy compliant to the EU taxonomy substantial contribution to climate mitigation. It means to reach the level of NZEB, nearly zero energy buildings, minus 10%, and complying with the EIB energy lending policies, which is mainly related to housing or wider public policy goals such education, research, healthcare, urban regeneration. We have also other departments, other primary eligibility like innovation, SMEs, urban development. So actually, we invite you to contact with us if you want to check if your project is eligible. What are the financing solution and the EIB instruments? So there are loans, direct loans to finance projects. The minimum size of the loans directly managed by the EIB is around 25 millions. For loans that are under 25 millions, there are intermediated loans with local banks. So actually, we work with financial intermediaries to realize energy efficient other green projects, also blending with as if grants. The EIB also under the EU mandates support with guarantees in different forms, and I will speak later about Elena. There is also some technical assistance program to support the preparation phase of the or different phase of the energy efficiency projects. In particular, I will have some slides later about Elena related to the preparation, but we have also Jasper, Targets, EIB Advisory, and InvestEU Hub. So actually, the slides show how the projects, let's say from the EU policy and targets, of course, the objective and the financing needs cascade down to national policy and targets in different sector and in projects, and each project has different phase in which, let's say, the AIB can support with at the design phase and the managing phase and the, let's say, the preparation phase, with the financing phase, with the loans or guarantees, and in the implementation phase as well. Actually, the AB can support in providing grants, providing loans, also in collaboration with banks and funds, providing guarantees and technical assistance in order to materialize these investments. I will spend some words in ELENA. ELENA is the acronym of European Local Energy National Assistance, making investment happen. So it relates grants to prepare sustainable projects. ELENA actually acts during the project pipeline when a project idea has gained some momentum and the stakeholders are ready to commit. Helena can bring all the elements together into a coherent, bankable proposal and can support with a grant up to 90% of the eligible cost in relation to energy audit, project management of the preparation phase, technical studies, business plan, financial and legal advisory, tender preparation, stakeholder engagement, community, and promotion. So it's not supporting the work, the construction of projects, energy efficiency project, but on the preparation. So proposal or preparation of the tenders, preparation of the technical studies. What are the eligible sectors for ELENA? Are sustainable energy, which is building renovation. So in the case of ELENA, no new buildings. Integrated renewables in buildings like PV or solar thermal, street lighting, district cooling, heating and networks connection or extension. Residential sector is related to housing renovation and integrated renewables. And then there is also a urban transport sector, which deals with electric buses, improved public and transport mobility, IT, alternative fuel vehicles, and charging station. ELENA can assist public entities, municipalities, regional authorities, central government bodies, but also private entities like energy agency, one-stop shops, associations, social housing, owner, banks, and financial intermediaries. The costs that are eligible for the ELENA grant for the preparation of the project are internal staff as well as external consultants, which are contracted actually. As I mentioned before, related to not just to the technical parts, so energy audit and feasibility studies, but also some of the aspects they usually are very critical and important in order to prepare the energy efficiency viable and solid project, which are sometimes the involvement of the stakeholders. If we think, for example, of the investment that involves the homeowners, private homeowners, also the legal and financial advisory. If we also think the preparation of complex contract that they can aggregate several projects or program or include the type of financing which are not on the day-by-day activity of the promoter, like, for example, I'm referring to EPC, energy performance contracts, or ESP projects. The EIB is supports the ELENA, the applicant to ELENA, so you can receive direct EIB support to prepare the ELENA application, and the application is open. There is no calls, no specific deadlines. The competition is a first come, first serve. The ELENA will fund up to 9% of the investment preparation cost, with 10% should be provided by ICAEN. Some key takeouts. I will be very briefly. The minimum investment is 30%. There is a leverage factor, which is an obligation, control obligation to materialize the investment in proportion in relation to the grant given. The application process is continuous, and the grant is typically between 1 and 3 million. Time frame for the realization of the investment in 3-4 years, and for public entities, the realization means the publication of the tenders. So far, more than 166 projects have been financed by Elena, and 297 million of grants disbursed, which supports 9.5 billion of investment. We are looking for more projects as much as available. We have done in the last month some roadshow events in most of the EU capitals to present this program. But the invitation is to get in touch with us if you're interested and present us what your idea investment can be supported by Elena. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Stefano.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
European Investment Bank, very important financer, but requires quite a big project. So, and this is done only in cooperation and with different tools. I hope that now Michael Pachlatko from Joule Assets, the following presentation, the director of Joule Asset Europe, and with large experience, I would say, in different financing schemes, especially in energy efficiency, small renewables, and he will. Joule Assets was also part of EnEffect, and during this project, we also made our platforms work together. So we extended a bit these the availability of these tools that are necessary to promote energy efficiency. Michael, you have the word.
And the team for inviting me to speak today. I'm dialing in today from Modena, where I'm based in Italy. My name is Michael Pachlatko. I'm the European Director and CFO of Joule Assets. We are a small consultancy in the field of sustainable energy finance in multiple EU member states. I'm also the founding member and board member of the Sustainable Energy Finance Association. I will get to this in a moment. As Stoyan said, we are a partner of the EnEffect consortium and have been integrating some of our solutions with the EnEffect ecosystem, and have also been engaging financial institutions and worked on the business model side of the EnEffect ecosystem. Today, I would like to provide a bit of a European perspective, really starting with what most of you will be familiar with. I'm very brief here, but as you all are very well aware, we have just been now going through a wave of additional EU legislation, updated and new, in the field of sustainable energy, with the European Energy Efficiency Directive and the Renewable Energy Directive being approved late 2023. And now, towards the end of this month, we will see the European Performance of Buildings Directive, the Electricity Market Design, and the Net Zero Industry Act come to an agreement and to be codified. Now, this all is a very comprehensive piece of work, a lot of ambitious targets, and it clearly shows that the public framework is set and clear and ambitious. We have ambitious targets for 2030, 2040 climate targets are already under discussion. And now we are facing a European Parliament election in June, and then clearly related to that, quite a bit of a pause, regulatory wise, until likely by the beginning of next year, a new commission, a new team will take on the work. What this means clearly is that with this set of ambitious targets, we have a lot of work coming up, right? The real work really starts now, and what is very clear from the European Commission side and a lot of the market actors is that the crux now is to find the right solutions to ensure that enough private investment is going to be dedicated over the next decade or more in the specific sector of energy efficiency and renewable energy. To that extent, the European Commission has already opened a call for evidence earlier this year on how to unlock private investments for energy efficiency. And I really like the word unlock, because I think by now we are all also in agreement that it's not a lack of capital out there. There is quite a hunger, actually, among financial institutions as well to green their portfolios and to invest in this area. But it is really that we need to unlock it, right? We need to find the right solutions to have that capital flow to a lot more projects. So what's next in energy efficiency finance? Minimum energy performance standards are ambitious. This was one of the key discussion points in the European Performance of Buildings Directive. Speakers before me have mentioned energy poverty is a big concern, and high energy costs and discomfort for especially residential homeowners and tenants are a big problem. So we need to ensure that these MEPs can be met with suitable support mechanisms, be it also from the public side with tax breaks, guarantees, grants, but clearly also with additional private finance. In the financial world, ESG and the EU taxonomy have created quite a buzz over the last years, right, with increasing regulatory pressure, customer demand, and also investor appetite, right, that really look to create ESG compliant investment products. We can only expect this to get even more stringent, more ambitious as well. The EU taxonomy currently only covers the E dimension of ESG, but social and governance aspects will clearly be worked on or are being worked on already now. Also, what we see as one key solution or one key area to work on over the next cycle or two of legislation is to really work on solutions that bring energy efficiency, the building's energy efficiency potential, to the same level as distributed renewable energy generation. There are various pay-for-performance pilots out there. We are also looking to the US and across member states of what has been piloted, what has been tried and tested. The key idea here is to make energy efficiency a transactable resource, so that we have a clear idea, not just an estimated kind of deemed modeled savings of kilowatt hours, but an actual measured, metered efficiency energy. Basically, instead of renewable energy, you could basically say this is a resource that can be then transacted and much in the same way invested in, for example, through a power purchase agreement. Now, when we talk about this, clearly it becomes apparent data is key here. We've heard in the first presentation from Carsten, the DEEP platform includes already a wealth of information there, and it really goes to show that investors in this field are really dependent on data, on accurate data, on granular data, and that is one of the key areas where digitalization and data access needs to really improve. I'll be very brief here. I could go on into much more detail on these various points, but I would like to just point to some of the solutions that we currently see evolving, both in terms of support systems, so be it one-stop shops that provide technical, administrative, financial advice, help address the information barrier, right? And really enable also public authorities, be it on a local or a national level, to really walk the talk, right? And show that public administration buildings are also being upgraded, are also being renovated, and it's not just something that is being imposed on all of us as residents, but critically that public schools, hospitals, public administration buildings get the necessary upgrades as well, which is a big potential, obviously, across Europe. Public support as well, I've mentioned it before, will be crucial, but to a probably less and less, relatively speaking, less and less extent, right? But it can clearly provide, critical support, mitigating counterparty risk of, in terms of a first loss guarantee. We also have to be critical on maybe some of the support schemes that have been put in place and learn from maybe shortcomings of laws. I point here to the 110% super bonus scheme in Italy that you certainly are aware of, where there was a lack of quality control, lack of qualified personnel to really keep up with that wave that it created. And so that is clearly a key area to be focusing on going forward. At the same time, we look at solutions that are more contractual or business model related, right? We need tailoring. Opportunities need to be located for investors in the right country at the right time, the right technology with the right risk appetite. And these are very different if we talk about single house or multifamily homes, or maybe more in particular, energy poor households, vis-a-vis public or private housing associations that provide maybe much better scalability and replicability, lower counterparty risk, but clearly also added complexity. At the same time, we see a stark growth in servitization models that allow often also for an off-balance sheet treatment of the provided service. So we are no longer talking about energy savings as it is often the case in energy performance contracts, but rather about providing lighting, heating, cooling as a service that is from a financial perspective just a much more interesting form of then creating further financial products by the sale of receivables, securitization, and so on. And clearly, it alleviates the debt burden on the end client's balance sheet. Now, getting to a quick pivot here in my presentation, Joule Assets has been working over the last years on multiple initiatives, including also the development of the eQuad platform that we have now successfully integrated into the EnTrack ecosystem. eQuad is nothing else than basically a matchmaking platform of project opportunities with suitable investment resources. At the same time, and in parallel to EnTrack, we have developed the Launch and the Propel project that some of you might have heard of, but this work really saw the development and incorporation of the Sustainable Energy Finance Association, a Brussels-based association in existence since June 2023. You see some of the founding partners here outlined on the bottom. And we have currently 22 members that you see here on the screen as well. And we have been working throughout these last years with a lot of financial institutions that really participated in the creation and deployment of what we call the CIFA collateral. So these are standardized contracts, risk assessment protocol, KYC, ESG modules that we have all digitalized. Many of them are also translated in multiple languages, and we have all incorporated those materials in what is now the CIFA member access platform. It is for us, from a CIFA side, really interesting to follow now the further developments of the EnTrack platform. We have now a memorandum of understanding between CIFA and EnTrack as well to clearly elaborate further what possible ways of cooperation could be it also through the eQuad platform that is also integrated in the CIFA ecosystem. It is really clear there is a lot more work to be done in this area, and I'm very much looking forward to next steps with any and all of you. That is really a quick perspective that I would like to give from my side. Here you see possible ways you could engage with the CIFA Association. Happy to have any outreach to me, and thank you very much again for the opportunity to present today, and to you, Stoyan, in Barcelona.
Michael. Thank you very much. So we are a bit behind the time, 10 minutes. I will try to speed up a bit. But next follows the presentation of the project EnTrack itself. So I will try to give a glimpse of what we are doing and what EnTrack is. So EnTrack stands for Energy Efficiency Performance Tracking Platform for Benchmarking Savings and Investments in Buildings. And this says quite much about what the project is. So just explain a bit on this. Here are our partners. I won't repeat. So just to say that the initial partner Gecko, that was mentioned earlier, was during the project was absorbed actually by Smart Innovation Norway. So it's became our new partner, but otherwise nothing changed. So, what were the objectives of EnTrack? So first of all, EnTrack was meant as a supporting tool for gathering information. We wanted to create a massive gathering platform uh, for collecting performance data related with the performance of buildings, but based on real data. No, not some estimations, engineering. So this was one of our main objective. So on the other hand, we wanted to make this information a continuous process. So not one shot, just when we do it in a project, but to make it continuous. And this means involvement of the building owners on a continuous basis, and also in order to maintain his relation, also offering him services to keep this interest alive. Then another issue was a bit more technical, standardization of data and the interoperability between platforms. We have a lot of data, so I'm mentioning a bit with what I say the challenges we have also. So you have a lot of data in many places, but this data is normally not standardized. Each in each place it is named in one way, in another way. So it is very difficult to make a cohesive data set. So it's more than you can imagine, actually, to make a cohesive data set. So that is somehow useful for analysis. No? And in the case of energy efficiency, you have to basically get energy information, technical information with financial information, and to join them together in order to be able to make some analysis of this. What we did in EnTrack was to create a standardized data model over which different data sources were aligned. So, and the other solution important we mentioned is to make this project live beyond the project lifetime, to make it sustainable in the long term, because these initiatives are very hard to impose, take a lot of time, and then it's a pity that if this stops, so it's when it's just getting tracked. So we wanted to make this live together, live further. So with few words, EnTrack platform, we could say one-stop shop for energy management of building portfolios. We collect here data in a single place, so building descriptions, energy consumption, energy costs, energy efficiency, and investments made, so all in one place. So and over on top of this, we offer monitoring of of the building performance of a portfolio. It is not as detailed as energy management platforms that are focused on one building. It is portfolio focused. So more general data, but for more buildings so that you can see differences between them. So our focus is energy efficiency, but also monitoring of CO2 emissions, costs, so savings, and also benchmarking. On top of this, of the data collected, we offer comparisons that are anonymized, similar as Carsten mentioned in Deep. So we do not disclose our data. Every data provider has his own private space where he could see and manage, like in a in a proprietary application, manage his data. But what we do is extract on top these data and compare them on top on anonymous level, show where you stand before in comparison with other buildings. So we have a complete 100% compromise to protecting your data. So every proprietary data is staying proprietary in EnTrack. So it is not share. We do not share data between one user and one provider with the other. Only share the uh, general information that could benefit every mm, user of EnTrack. So our target audiences are diverse. So we have building owners and operators, which are our main focus group because these are the providers of data. These are that generate the data. So we have also financial institutions because these financial institutions want to know about they evaluate projects, and this information is very valuable to when they want to see which are the projects that are expected to provide more savings, and this comes from digging into the data. No? But financial institutions only get the information anonymized, so we do not provide directly information to them unless the user wants to. And for this, we did a connection, for example, with the platform Equat of Joule. So when the user of EnTrack wants to continue further the analysis or meet investors, he could export, with voluntarily could push his data to the Equat platform and continue there the analysis of this. So and finally, so EnTrack is a huge database. We, we even want to expect to make it bigger, continuing collecting this for policymakers because they could actually see which type of measures, which type of policies lead to better impact. So this we offer this benchmarking over different performance indicators. We have defined 12 or 13 different indicators that are from some are energy indicators, other are oriented to cost or to financials. And you for here you can see for the different users what could they find. For example, which is the saving of some measure, the average. We show this information as distributions, as statisticals over this. For example, what is the energy use for buildings, or what is the average cost of saving per some measure that gives information about future decisions. So how does EnTrack work? So I said we in the core of this we have a common data model. And over this model, we can gather data from different places. And on top of this, this goes to the databases, and the web application is just showing the data that is within database. So I insist this is not there is no simulation, there is no invented data. The data that you see is the data that is in the database. And we collect for example, for the energy consumption, which is very important data. We here in Spain we have now lately the DataDis portal, which provides automated access to hourly energy consumption data. We connect to this and extract it, but NTRAC is not limited to this. We try to facilitate and get to any place. So if you don't have automated access to data, you can also upload data described from energy bills. We offer simple template where you can just describe your invoices, the date, and upload this data. So we work with monthly data, with bi-monthly data, with yearly data, with monetary data. So it is not a limitation. So we also get different data from open sources like Cadastre, and so we join all together. Weather data is connected to the building location. So we only have to introduce the postal code, and we connect to the um, uh, next weather station to your building. And so this allows us to then to climatically correct this data in the analysis. No? But so you can find more information, but just showing you in a glimpse, this is the landing page of the application. So it is you have two ways. No, one is to compare buildings. So this is to follow building performance, or the other is to the performance of energy efficiency investments. So if you go one way, so in building performance, this is let's say the public part you can access. So, the data is anonymized. You see distributions of energy consumption, for example, for the for the indicator, in this case, energy use intensity, you have for different building types. So building typologies, which are the distribution, the average consumption, the maximum, minimum consumption. And you can explore similar graphs, but also for other indicators, so which are related to cost or emissions. But the visualization is similar. So, and if you go to the right part, the energy efficiency performance measures, so you can see similar, but this time it is related to different indicators. So in this case, energy saving intensity. So when we talk about investments, we do not talk about consumption, we talk about savings. No? And we have financial savings, emission savings, and here the distribution is also about different classification of different energy efficiency measures. And similar visualizations, you can go through the different indicators here and visualize. So NTRAC, this is the public part. NTRAC has a sign-in part where you can, as a data provider, register. Once you register and log in, so you receive an email for confirmation. You put your passport, or if you're bigger organizations, you just contact us so we can adapt also and search some automation of your data and to facilitate the project. But then you start, for example, if you want to introduce a building, you start introducing some new data. So what is necessary is the building name, the minimum data, and the postal code for the location. This is to get to connect the weather data. You can introduce, select the data source. So you create your point of delivery, and then we can either connect automatically through DataDis, or you can upload your energy bills with a template, and you then can register every energy investment there with the date it was done, when was what was the amount invested, what was the technical measure, and some months afterwards, if you start continue collecting the information, so you can start getting information about what is the effect of this investment in terms of savings. So then you add your buildings. You finally have in your account your list of buildings in your account. So this is your portfolio. You can follow up, for example, explore your portfolio. For example, see particular building where it stands, if it's the highest consumer or is in the middle, or you can follow the performance over time. You can follow up savings from energy efficiency measures and other things as well. So just concluding, I said in the beginning that the continuity of NTRAC is important for us. It always has been. So, and we have been working hard on this with the help of ICAEN now. NTRAC has become somehow of institutional platform for the Generalitat and ICAEN. Because under the name of CIME, because CIME is, let's say, the core of CIME is NTRAC. It comes from there, with some tunings and adjustments that will continue because of the particularities of ICAEN. We're continuing working, but we have set a long-term agreement, so until 2028, to support this platform, and now it is launched through the different. Also has been launched and will next in the next session we'll continue connecting, but probably most of the managers now of Generalitat know this. Also, NTRAC had a large pilot in Bulgaria. You know, we collected a huge number of data from Bulgaria. Actually, all certified buildings in Bulgaria in NTRAC. We have a cooperation agreement prepared now to sign with the Municipal Energy Efficiency Network, and we are going to support extending this into municipal level. So it is different experience. After my presentation, you will hear a presentation from our partners from EnEffect from Bulgaria, with experience in the municipalities. But with this act, we want to give also knowledge to the municipalities here in Spain, also about these platforms, and to impulse this at municipal level, to following the. And finally, so due to a connection with another project that we developed with ICAEN, ePlanet, we were able to also the two initial pilots in Spain and Bulgaria, to complement them with the Czech Republic, and we are actually now have signed an agreement and are testing these services at the region of Zlin in the Czech Republic. So we do not give up of our ambition to be a European platform. So as a result, our technological contributions, mainly I will focus not on the quantitative part, which you can see in the platform, but more on the, let's say, qualitative part of our contribution. This is more Carsten than. And this is that we have facilitated the data collection and through automation, linking different data sources, consolidating, harmonizing these data, making it possible to extract value from it, in difference with different databases that just keep data in silo, but with little possibility to extract value, really. And also enabled the evaluation, the automated evaluation through different models, advanced modeling based on data, to evaluate the effect of the energy saving measures. So, and you just have to feed the platform with the energy consumption data, and finally you will get this result automatically, the savings of this measure. And other important result I would like to highlight is the the organizational, the contribution to the organizational institutions. This has been a large part of the work of ICAEN, where they had to coordinate with different departments, and also to elaborate, analyze together with the colleagues from Bulgaria, analyze different organization types, different ways to storing the information, and to revealing the necessary collaborations between different departments, especially in big organizations like public sector, where you have accounting departments that holds the financial data, you have energy management departments that hold the energy data, and you have to bring them together in order to be able to evaluate the effect of this. So uh, I would highlight very much this work and these guidelines that were elaborated by ICANN and the protocols and procedures for owners. And just to finalize, just want to, as the audience here is more municipal or regional, I would like to highlight the importance of NTRAC for these organizations, because in many cases you have small versus big ones. And it is a democratic platform because it offers yeah, equally to the small ones that do not have uh, let's say budget for buying specific software. So you could have this you're building data stock on with your hand, just have an access without any software installation. And just to say that we are open for establishing agreements and to support you for this. So you can contact me and my colleagues, and as well ICAEN, who continues to be tuned with this, and we will help you as far as we can. Thank you very much. Uh, so next presentation will come online as well from our colleague from Bulgaria about let's say the general impressions from the engagement, the reception, and also how the particular issues that they found in the work with municipalities. Thank you. Stanislav,
Hello, I cannot
you can.
turn on my video, unfortunately. It says that the host has stopped it, but I will just share now my presentation. I guess you can see my presentation now. Can you hear me? Hello? I'm not sure if you can hear me or seeing the slides. Can somebody confirm?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. So,
Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, hello to everybody. Thank you, Stoyan, for the opportunity to present this here. My name is Stanislav Andreev. I'm managing EnEffect Consult. This is a consulting organization mainly working with Bulgarian local authorities. So I am very happy that we've been part of this initiative, and we finally created a very, according to me, useful tool that will support our municipalities in the energy management process and respectively attract funding for the energy efficiency investments. But I will start from the beginning here. Well, what are the obligations actually of the Bulgarian municipalities? As it is a requirement of the energy efficiency directive that the public, local authorities should manage energy, it is very clearly stated in the Bulgarian Energy Efficiency Act that the Bulgarian municipalities should develop energy efficiency plans They should organize the implementation of the plan and analyze their energy consumptions on annual base. But in reality, it's well, not exactly like that. This is when NTRAC actually started 3.5 years ago. We made a research what is actually the quality of these energy efficiency plans, and you can see that even not all municipalities in Bulgaria uh, are having plans as required by the law. Also, the quality is how to say comparatively low. There are a lot of requirements for these plans in our regulations. They have to set quantitative energy efficiency targets. They have to have a financial framework. And what we found out as a conclusion that the municipalities that really have such a high quality plans, for them it's much easier to attract funding for their energy efficiency projects. So as a first task of the project, we try to assess actually the needs, both to building owners and the financial institutions. We started this during COVID with some online workshop webinars and the so-called forums. We also participated in numerous trainings just to see what is the level of the municipalities, of the municipal experts, what are their needs in order to improve the process of energy management. And this is the main actually barrier that we found out. You can see here how municipalities provide energy data when they need some of our uh, consulting services. The data is mainly on paper invoices that they scan. That is quite time consuming to operate with this data, to extract this data and start the actual work. This is actually the overview of the needs of the users that we identified during the projects, both for building owners and operators like municipalities, like local authorities, and from the financial institutions. And we found out that there are a lot of matching needs for both like the stakeholders, and that is what we try to provide to cover these needs with NTRAC. And in Bulgarian case, we inputted data about over 4,000 buildings, actually buildings with energy audits that had very detailed energy performance certificates with a lot of data about the building characteristics, about the consumption 3 years back, etc., etc. The main functionality that they liked actually, and Stoyan already mentioned multiple users per organization, so you can assign one user per building or whatever the organization needs in order to make the process more effective. And actually we believe that we support with this tool the energy management process on municipal level in every single step. Those of you who are more familiar with energy management will already know this cycle. The most important thing is to determine the baseline. Where are you now? And this information that we collect in NTRAC for each municipality is actually the base for this process. Of course, based on that, you can prioritize your projects and start looking for financing them. Platform also gives the possibility to measure, to monitor the effect of the measures, and of course continue to improve based on a day-to-day management of the building. The platform also covers all different parts of the energy management process. It allows energy controlling. It allows optimization of the operation of the building based on the data, based on the analysis of energy data, and will support them in the investment measures, identifying and then verifying them. So, in summary, what are the benefits that we identified here? EnTrack support our local authorities to optimize energy consumption, make data-driven decisions, and of course attract funding. Just as an example, our National Trust Eco Fund in Bulgaria started program for financing energy efficiency projects in kindergartens and schools. And one of the conditions to participate in this program was to have a mechanism to monitor the results of the projects. And as obvious, EnTrack can play this role here and facilitate the municipalities to apply for funding under this program. Just as an example, because this is the most common case of the implementation of energy efficiency measures in Bulgaria. You can see this example here in 2009, a measure for improvement of the building system is done. But because of monitoring the results, the municipality finds out that something is not happening right, and there's underperformance. So if you have a tool that facilitates you to do this, you can find the problem and solve it. Otherwise, if you don't verify and monitor the savings, you will just keep paying for the energy that you don't have to consume, actually. And last but not least, because also Trian mentioned that it is also, the platform is also targeting the national authorities. I'm referring to the new Energy Efficiency Directive from 2022, and Article 6 here that from 2025, the member states make publicly available and accessible an inventory of heated or cooled buildings owned by public bodies. I can imagine what will happen. The government will require this data from the municipalities, and they don't have this data. So, if they are more active in using EnTrack and they start collecting this data, they will have a good base to provide in a year and a half the information needed to respond to this article of the Energy Efficiency Directive. So this was shortly from my side. I would like to thank you again for the opportunities to being part of this, to have this tool already operating, and of course we will continue supporting Bulgarian municipalities in using it.
Thank you very much. So sorry we are a little bit behind the time. So thank you for your attention, and now we're going to have a coffee break. Please follow the organizers, the buffet.